I'm Pam Waterman, and my husband Dan and I are founders and directors of Benjamin Ministries. We are a unique bereavement ministry, as we've got that nickname about the ministry today. You know, this ministry started back on April 29th, 1997, when our son Benjamin went to heaven very unexpectedly as a result of a very tragic auto accident that I and my 2 older children survived. You know, you never expect a day where you have to say goodbye to your little 6.5-week-old baby boy. But as God would have it on that day, that's what we had to do. And I really believe that God sends messengers in the time that we need it most. And I'll never forget in that very difficult time, being a mom alone in her van, knowing that our baby is breathing his last breath and not knowing what to do. There was a man outside our vehicle who said to me, "How can I help?" And I said to him, "I don't know, I think my baby's not gonna make it, I don't know what to do." And he said, "Talk to him." And then I knew exactly what I needed to say to Ben in that moment, and it was, "Ben, I love you so much. You're gonna go with Jesus now. He's gonna take care of you, and we'll miss you. But we know we'll see you again one day." And then Ben was gone. That's what started our time of bereaving the loss of a child. Boy, what a journey it's been. Ben would have been 19 years old today, and what the Lord has done since then is just quite astounding through the work of what we call Benjamin Ministries today. So how do you bereave the loss of a child? That was our journey, trying to figure that out. We knew right away in the very early days of our bereavement journey that we wanted to remember Ben. He was a part of our family. He lived and breathed with us for 6.5 weeks. He was a sibling of 6 other children who loved him and held him and helped care for him. And so we really prayed about how we would sort of take on that task of remembering this little guy. So very early on, I had a niece who was talented with graphic design skills, and we had this idea to put Ben's picture and name and dates on a plaque that would have some, really personal meaning to us. And this is actually the words of a very dear song to us called "Here You Stand" by Sherry Keggy that became very symbolic of our time of bereavement with Ben. And this went right up in the wall of our home. And not only that, but we gave them to family members and friends who really loved having a way to remember Ben as well. And the idea sort of caught on that there are other families that probably would love to have a way to remember their loved ones. And so Dan and I sort of designed what we call a bereavement care package, and we started handing them out to people that we knew that were experiencing loss. And we had other people coming up to us and saying, we sort of started with the focus of the loss of a child. And then folks came up and said, "Well, do you have a plaque for loss of a spouse or loss of a parent, loss of a brother, sister?" And quite frankly, in the beginning, our answer was no, but we could do that. And we're just so thankful that God actually pulled together a team of volunteers to help us do that very thing. And now we're in a place where we have memoriam documents that people can get as a gift of our ministry, and we're delivering 100 packages every month.
Yeah, as Pam mentioned, kind of the beginnings of the ministry started out with the document that we made for our family and amongst ourselves. And as time went on, people asked about the other documents and doing things for loss of parents and things like that. So we expanded the idea, and we got into delivering maybe about 15 packages a month at that time to various people who had made requests. We also got onto an internet presence, a web page that was donated through a local business, and that began our, greater expansion of outreach to people beyond those who we knew and in our, neighborhoods or church family. And as our presence on the internet grew, we were blessed with some individuals who wanted to help charities, ministries expand their web presence. And we got into some various Google AdWords campaigns, and it was just neat to see how the Lord expanded the ministry, bringing the right people in at the right time, which brought us up to now doing over 100 plus packages a month. We got great volunteers. We started with a small group of people when things were small, and people came in for various reasons. Some because they had experienced loss in their own lives, others just wanting to use their talents, graphic design, things like that, planning, managing, administration, all those kind of things. So we really saw God provide and expand our volunteer base so that we could keep up with the packages that we do today. In the background here is a sample of one of the documents we sent out when we were doing about 15 packages a month. We did send a frame and the document, and we have bereavement materials that we include in our package, all our packages, to help people cope with their loss, to present the gospel to people who need to know that they have a loving God and a Savior. And we also have introductory letter, as well as other devotional materials and, like I said, grief materials in those packages. It gets busy. We have usually a couple of work nights per month. That may have to get maybe increased if things continue to expand as they have. But it's been a journey from coming from a tragedy, which by any measures still is that, but God is in the business of taking those things and turning them around for His glory, because we know that we will see Ben another day on the other side of heaven here. And until then, we've got Benjamin Ministries to try and reach out to folks who, through our packages and through our literature that we provide, are able to help them find a better way to deal with their grief and to work through their grief.
In that journey of bereaving the loss of a child, we found it quite surreal that when we went looking for faith-based bereavement support, there wasn't any to be found in our area. We would have driven too, but there just wasn't anything at the time. And we knew at that time that we were being called to help to fill a void in faith-based bereavement support. And so as God led us to be able to embark on this mission of giving folks support through our bereavement care packages, He also impressed upon us the importance of gathering together to talk with people in a safe environment about the bereaving process. And how do you grieve? How do you carry on when you've lost someone that you've been bonded to and love so much? The world has this concept that you just got to move on and sort of get over it. Having been a part in a bereavement ministry now for a good 14 years, we know that you don't move on. You can carry on, which means that you bring with you everything you knew and loved about that loved one with you into your sort of new normal that you're trying to figure out. And so we're so thankful that part of the services that Benjamin Ministries offers is bereavement support groups. And we even had the opportunity to host our first bereavement conference a few years ago. There was an outreach that we went to that touched on bereavement just a little bit. And I remember nudging my husband and saying, boy, I could use a whole weekend on bereavement. And we have that in the vision of Benjamin Ministries. We want to be able to do more conferences, bereavement conferences for folks. And we're so thankful we've been able to begin a bereavement respite project. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, we had it as a vision of the ministry to be able to do something that we experienced as a family back when Benjamin moved on to heaven. We were able to get away as a family for a period of time. We just went down to New York City and just had some time together as a family, and it was just nice to get away in the midst of all that, to just do something fun as a family, something that would bond us as a family through this experience. So we thought, that would be something that our ministry would like to do and provide. So we came up with the idea of a lighthouse respite project where perhaps someday, Lord willing, we would own a lighthouse and have like a bed and breakfast attached with it, and be able to provide a place for people to go who are experiencing grief, to have that time like we had, to get away, time to sort through and just bond with your other family members, whether it's husband or wife or children or whoever it might be, and just have that time to just not have to worry about everything else and take some time to heal. And that was a goal and a vision for quite a few years of the ministry, and this past year, we realized that we've been able to do that. We are partnering with a local lighthouse here, Rochester, New York, and they have a current lighthouse and bed and breakfast, and we contacted them, told them about our vision, and they were willing to work with us to provide a package with reduced costs for these people to come. And we've awarded one getaway weekend for a couple here in Rochester to go do that. We also have another family that had a special request that we've been able to provide financially for, to allow them to go to a special place where a woman's, her husband had passed and her daughter wanted to go to remember her husband and her dad. So we've actually been able to do 2 respites, one here at the lighthouse in Rochester and another at a location where these folks had wanted to remember. So as we continue on, we'd like to see, something where ultimately we would have access or own that setup, a lighthouse and a bed and breakfast. But for now, we've been able to do it through God's provision once again, and we're just excited and thankful that we can do that and have been able to do that now. 2 of the most important things that you could do for our ministry, besides volunteering, you might not be in the area, whatever it might be, is to pray for the ministry. As we grow, we have the typical growing pains of needing help and praying over the packages to minister to people. And the other thing is financial support, because as Pam mentioned earlier, we give our gifts away for free. It does not cost those requesters any money at all. It's totally a gift of the ministry. So consider supporting us so that we can continue to provide these packages for free.